Hi everyone, and welcome to Words with That One Lady. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about something I enjoy doing the most. But before we go ahead, I want you all, as you are watching, if you've not subscribed, go and subscribe. If you've not even liked this video, go ahead and like it. You know you're gonna like it. Just go like it. Let's get into it. So today I'll be talking about something I enjoy doing the most, and it needs no further introduction if you can see what's beside me. So today I'll be talking about books, reading. If you've been following me on Instagram, if you've been watching some of my episodes, I've talked about reading. And if you also watched 2024 Wrapped, I mentioned and talked about how I've been doing so bad with my reading goal. So we're going to delve into it. How did I get into this? Where did it start from? Why do I read? And all that fun stuff. First of all, reading. How did it start? It started in a very, very quiet town in Lagos State, Nigeria. Very young. I'm not sure now if it was an 8 or 9-year-old girl. Was talking to her dad, and her dad says, when I go to Anderson Bookshop today, I'm going to bring a book back for you. And I'm like, all right, daddy. And he goes out for work, comes back home with a few books. And some of those books are what has started or what started this journey of reading that I do today. The first book my father ever got me was Jonathan Kellerman. And it was a book by Jonathan Kellerman. And he always got me. So Jonathan Kellerman and Faye Kellerman are authors, a couple who wrote a bunch of series of detective novels. And my dad would always get me these books, and they were like, if you know those, they were short like this, they were like short books like this. And he will always get me these books, and I will read them, and he would tell me in 3, 4, 5 days, you should tell me the story of what this book is all about. And I will. But guess what, guys? My father doesn't remember that. I remember in 2022 when I went home, I remember asking that, do you remember that you got me into reading? And he was like, really, did I? Anyway, that's how this journey of reading started. And I went from reading detective novels by Jonathan Kellerman and Faye Kellerman to reading Mills and Bones that everybody read. And I read a bunch of other not so great books and great books. And this was all in like my secondary school years. From primary to secondary, I read a lot of books. And of course, if you know any book that has Smoth in it, that was not the greatest book that a young person should not be reading, I read those. And after I think my secondary school year, once I got into university, I didn't have time to read anymore. All through my undergrad, I don't think I read one book. But in 2021, I'm not sure what happened, I'm not sure how, I picked it up again. And I would say that when I was much younger, I did not know why I read. I would say I started reading because my dad gave me a book, bought me a book, and always wanted me to explain, or tell him the story in a few minutes. Like, you read the book, like this very lengthy, big, fat book like this. And he would say, he would give me this book that's really, hefty book. And he would say, in 3 days or 4 days, you should tell me the story. And I will. And that was all it was about. And it got to a spot where, it was just reading books and being very fascinated about the way writers actually put words on paper. And I was like, really? What's kind of, sorcery is this? And then now I would say I read books because it's, kind of takes me away from how busy my day-to-day is. It's like my escape from life into a different world. And I would say that reading now is a very tangible hobby of mine. I don't read I don't read very often because of how busy life can get. But I've made reading like my escape whenever I need it. Like I said, since 2021, I have gotten back into reading and reading well. Not to say that over the years I never read. I did. I would pick one book or the other, but maybe once a year or twice a year, and I really didn't think too much about it. But from 2021, I took it very seriously and started reading more books. And I would say I got access to like libraries and being able to actually get books. And now reading seems to be like an aim thing that everybody's doing, which is kind of cool because reading kind of opens your knowledge to a different world, a different space. And reading helps you know things. You could read different kind of books. You can read like a motivational book. You could read like a religious book. You could read just regular romance fiction and all that, and it helps with a lot of things. But for me, I would say reading just takes me away from reality and puts me in a space of fun and relaxation. Because of course, if you watch me already, you know that I have been busy in school for like numerous number of years, and while I was in school, it was every day work, 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 and reading for me was a space outside of that work. Also, during my program in the last few years, I read a lot of like articles, research papers, and when I want to read, I want to read something that would just make me smile, laugh, that's not so serious. So I got into reading a lot of romance. Over the years, I of course tried self-help books, motivational books. I read different kind of books aside from romance and fiction. However, I always just find that when I read romance or when I read fiction, it just helps me. It just keeps me in a good mood. It just makes me happy and I just enjoy it. So I understand if you don't like what I read, that's fine. Please no judgment. Don't judge me. Thank you. Anyway, now we're talking about like my goals when it comes to reading. From 2021, like I said, I always set like goals for myself. Like this year I'll read 50 books, 120 books, blah blah blah. No, I've never read 120 books, so ignore that. In 2021, my aim was to read 40 books, and I read 33. In 2022, I aimed because I felt like, oh my god, I did so good in 2021. 2022, let's up it a little bit. In 2022, the aim was to read 50 books, and gosh, I read 52 books. And I remember in 2023 I was on an interview with I don't remember the other podcast now, but it's Larry and Toby Nifesi, and we talked about me reading and how I love reading, how I got into reading. And in that episode I mentioned that I had read, I think I will put the link here, I had read 52 books, and everybody was so amazed. I was like, how did you do it? And I'm going to talk about that in this episode. But yeah, after 2022, I was so gawked with myself, and I was like, you know what? 2023, let's go 60 books. Yeah. In 2023 and 2024, my aim was to read 60 books each year. And I did so badly. I think I forgot that there was a life outside of reading. I forgot that I was doing so much more with school that I would not have the time to read as much as I would want to read. So in 2023, I only read 19 books, and in 2024, I only read 20 books. And it was so interesting because, if you had watched like my 2024 Wrapped, I mentioned it there that I just told myself that I did not miss my goal, or I didn't fail my goal, but it was just, that was what I was able to read, and that's what I could read, and that's it. So for this year, 2025, I told myself, my goal on my Goodreads is to read 25 books. And fingers crossed, I'm able to do that. Y'all are going to be on this journey with me. I'll be reviewing the books from time to time, and maybe every month I'll come and tell you how many books I've read so far. And just so you know, in the month of January, I've only read one book. Just one. And I think I'm currently reading 3. Yeah, I'm currently reading 3 books. And don't ask me how I'm reading 3 books at the same time. It's just situation. That's how it just happens. I started my reading goals, like I just mentioned, just because I wanted to track my reading, because I found myself reading books a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people do, but I wanted to read more, and I wanted to be able to see how much more I could do. I found the app Goodreads where I could keep track of books I've read, and also rate books, and also even get to know about new books that were coming out, which was quite exciting. And since I got on Goodreads, I always set a goal every year. And like I said, 25 books this year. Let's see how it goes, how I go with it. I'm not mad about the fact that I didn't meet my goals in the last 2 years, but I take into cognizance that, life happens. So yeah, that being said, I would go through, the books that are sitting down here are the books I hope to read in the next month or more, hopefully, fingers crossed. But also, like I said earlier, I have read one book for the year. I have read one book for the month of January, and it is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. And I read this book via audio, so it was an audiobook. I don't know if you are a reader, you should either know Libby. It's an application where you can get your library on it and then rent books. And for me, reading started very well after I found Libby and libraries, in the sense that, so my university's, library card, I have it on it, and I can get books from my school library. And also the town I live in, I can get, the library card and also have it on the app, and I have access to getting books. And like I said, I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood via audio. I listen to it while I'm working on stuff that don't need like cognitive presence, or when I'm working out or I'm doing stuff around the house. I listen to the books, to my book. I rated this Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood a 4/5 because I think that the story was okay, was great. Like, the story was okay, but I think I keep struggling every time with most of my romance novels that they would ramp up the story and at the end it's just like rush to the end, and I'm like, okay, great, that's not what I was expecting. I do so bad at reviewing books sometimes because I guess I have a different taste in the kind of romance and fiction that I read. However, it was a good book. It was a good feel-good book. And yeah, that was basically it with Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. To how I read my books. I read my books in different ways. I either read a physical book that I carry around, but sometimes it gets very hard to carry. So I either would have a physical book and still have the audio on my phone on the app Libby, like I mentioned. So if you want to know, just type on Apple Store or Play Store and type in Libby, or there's another app. I don't know if it's Overdrive, but check it. I think it's another app called Overdrive where you can get audiobooks. And I also use my Kindle. So I have this for when I travel for work or when I travel for conferences. I use this for flights, and I use this for, when I can't carry my physical book or when I can plug my ears with headphones. So I have this, to read as well. And my Kindle has a bunch of books that I've had for a while. And on my Kindle as well, I think I do badly with reading with this when I'm at home, but I read with this only when I travel. So if I have a book I'm carrying, I'm reading like this, and I want to, I'm going to travel, I'll just make sure I have a Kindle version and I read here. But I don't use this very much often, but I have it just for accessibility. Yeah, I think that's all with reading for me. I think for the year 2025, what I want to do better is read more Nigerian and African books. And if you look on this side, you see a few of them that I got last year, and I'm excited to read. I think Kama Pearl I have like 4 of their book. I don't know who this author is. I never looked them up, but I have 4 books from Kama Pearl that I want to read. And there's this book that just came out, I think in December, I stole from my friend, or When Love Visits. I want to get into it because I feel like it's a good February book to read. So this is one of the books that I'm hoping to read in February. Like I said, this year, read more Nigerian books. We'll see how it goes. But first, on my February list, when it comes to February, I want to read this. Also, I have started reading The 7 Years Slip, but I just never got to the end of it. I don't know why. I think I have the Kindle version, and I read it a few times last year while I traveled, but I just never got to the end. But I have the physical book that my fiance bought for me sometime last year, and I'm excited to actually read it. But I've still just not. I'm not sure. I think I'm on page 46 because I have it in here. I've just not gone far. I'm not sure why. Yes, this I want to get back into and I want to finish it. I did not DNF it, by the way, and DNF means did not finish. And yes, all the other books for the month of February that I really hope I really get into is Kama Pearl, Call Me Jamila, Goodie Bag, Botombele, and Gaga Crazy. All four of this book I'm hoping to get into at some point the month of February. If I don't get into it in February, I'll get into it at some point. But these are some of the top priorities for the year 2025, and would make the 25 book I'll read 25 books that I will read this year. Also for the month of February, or in the month of January, I started, well, not January per se, this book by Hannah Grace. I started last year but never got to the end. I am almost done, but it's taking forever to finish because there are some books, well, for book lovers, you know, everybody hates this, but I don't know where my bookmark is, and that's okay. Anyway, for book lovers who know Hannah Grace very well, you know that this is in a it's a series. So the first one I think was, I'm not sure if it was Icebreaker, but it's the Maple Hill novel series. Yes. So I read Icebreaker. It was so great. I'm currently reading Daydream. I'm almost done. I cannot wait to be done. And for those who know Rebecca Yarros, hopefully I'll be done with this in February. And those who know you, Rebecca Yarros, if you've read Iron Flame, Fourth Wing, you know this is the third book. I'm so excited to finish it. I have started. The book came, I literally just sat down and started reading it. But like life with life and the other things to read. I've only gotten like 50, no, it's like 18 pages in. I'm only 18 pages in Oinkstorm. I'm so excited. These two books are books that I know that I'm taking forever to go through it because there's just some books you don't want to finish. And those books are the books I don't want to finish. Yeah, those are everything I have for the month of February. I really hope to God that I get through them. Yeah, like I said, the goal for this year is 25 books, and I'm hoping that I'm able to come back every month to review the books I've read, talk about what I think about any book that I read. I'm hoping that in the next few days I get through Daydream. If I'm able to get through Daydream in the next few days, I will focus on Oinkstorm, and I'll focus on When Love Visits in the month of February, and maybe get into one of these. If not, we'll move it to March, and that's okay. I am also on Libby currently reading Familia by Leigh Bardugo. I don't know if it's Leigh, it's Leigh Bardugo audio. So I listened to that book, The Familia, or Familia, that's what they call it, Familia. I listened to it before I go to bed. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Is there another book reader here, or someone who reads, who has a morning book, has a night book, has the during the day book, and has the chill book? Yeah, I do. I have all those. And yeah, reading is fun. I think for anyone who wants to go into reading, if you're thinking of like, oh, how do I get into reading? What do I do? What's the first step? I think the first step to take is to find a library, because being able to access books, it's the most important thing. And most libraries have books that you can either read on the Libby app, or books that you can read through audiobook, or books that you can, borrow from the library. I buy some, I borrow some, but yeah, and I get some from the Libby app. And it's very accessible if you live in a country where the libraries are things that are very accessible to you, and you don't even have to go into the library if you have a library card. Every city I live in, I always have a library card, and it's very important to do that. So yeah, if you want to read with me, you can either get the Daydream, get Oinkstorm, but you would not understand Oinkstorm if you've not read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, so go get that. Or you could get a nice, I've heard so much good things about this, you could go get this, When Love Hits by Comfort Omove. I don't know if I'm saying that well. Go read this. I can't wait to get into it. It might be my like February Valentine book thing. But yeah, guys, that's basically it on my reading. I enjoy reading. It's a fun pastime for me. It's something that I do when, I'm tired, or I've had a long day, or I'm done from work. Most times I don't even have the time to do it, so it's okay. You don't have to set a goal to read. You can just read if you feel like it. Pick one book today and read. That book that is in your corner that you've always been staring at. Yes, you know the book I'm referring to. Go pick it up and read. And also maybe find something that, makes you happy to read. Sometimes so many people don't know how to get into reading, or don't enjoy reading because they pick books they don't like. That's why I would always say I would not read a self-help book. I would not read a religious book, except there's a specific book I want to read. I won't read bibliographies or I won't read autobiographies because I don't think people know how to write autobiographies well. And there are only 2 autobiographies I've ever read that were really good. It is Will by Will Smith, and Viola Davis's book. I can't remember the name now, but the Viola Davis's book was so good. So those 2 books are the only autobiographies I read that I liked. I read Becoming by Michelle Obama, Slow Burn. I've talked about it before. But yeah, find a book you like, find a genre you like, and just stick to it and enjoy it. Don't read books because everybody's doing it. Don't read books because I'm doing it. Don't read books because I said so. When you get a book you don't like it, you can freaking DNF it. Like, do not finish. You can leave it alone. I'm like, not my cup of tea. Find the author that works for you. Find the kind of, authors that you love to read. I don't listen to social media when it comes to authors. I pick authors that I like and I read them. And yeah, that's basically it. Anyway, guys, that's it for me when it comes to reading. I enjoy reading. I love reading. I have always read. And yeah, 25 books. Let's see how this goes. Until next time, guys. Keep believing, keep loving, and ensuring that you're moving the truth.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it so much, don't forget to share. Let your friends know. Let your sister, brothers, uncle, mothers, fathers know about it. It can help anybody. This can help anybody at all. So go ahead and share it. If you also have a question, comments, things you like me to do more, or anything you like me to hear, go ahead and leave me an email. Check the description and you will find my email there, and I would love to hear back from you guys. Thank you so much once again, and until next time, keep believing, keep loving, and ensure that you're living your truth. And until the next podcast, have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.